Hi everyone, it is good to be here again. One quick announcement is I am now going to be putting out videos Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And Sunday I will put out new material. And if anyone asks questions about that on Saturday, I will answer those questions. And then Sunday put out something different. So I will try to get your answers back to you in a quicker time frame than before. I am going to answer a question today because it's a question that I can talk about a lot and really deserves a whole video. So this question is, how are thoughts and focus generated, and how can we change them? So to start off, I'm going to say some things that will sound obvious, but they help in talking about things moving forward. First of all, thoughts come from two places. They're either internal or they come from somewhere external. But by internal, what I mean is that they come from your inner being, somewhere larger, which is a thought that comes from a larger perspective than your own and has a broader truth to it. New thoughts is what I'm talking about, come from somewhere internal that have a broader perspective, or they come from somewhere external, meaning you're looking around in the world and you read it, you see it on TV, or you hear someone else talking about it. So that's how you generate new thoughts. Now, obviously, once a thought has come in your mind, it develops a neural pathway, and if you see something that reminds you of it, that thought is triggered, and you run it again over and over and over and over. It might be, I don't like dogs. So you see a dog, and that thought comes over and over, or whatever thought. But your power is that you get to choose what thoughts to focus on and what thoughts not to focus on. So things really are bombarding you. Information is bombarding you from outside all the time, which could be potential thoughts you can latch onto, and from inside all the time, which can be potential thoughts that you can latch onto, both from your mind and from a larger perspective. So your way to keep your machine running, your mind is your machine running well, the ideal situation would be that you choose to focus on the thoughts that make you feel good, meaning that they're taking you to where you want to go in life. And the more you choose to focus on those, you're building up a collection of thoughts in your mind that are easy to access. They have the momentum going, and they're all thoughts that are healthy for you, meaning they make you feel good and take you to where you want to be in life. So that is sort of the goal, is to have that there. And of course, once you have those thoughts there and you run them often, they become more automatic. So it takes less effort for you to access them. And for someone that is in a good place in their life, that's happening automatically, and it feels to them as though it's fairly easy to move through the basic momentums of life until they come across something new that they haven't encountered before, and then they have to choose how to deal with that. But if you have that set up in your energy, then the basic day-to-day functioning of life can be a lot of fun. Um, and the way that you choose to make a thought bigger is simply by your focus. So a lot of people are focused mostly on external information given to them by other people, or books, or magazines, or TV, and what's in their mind already. So if you're doing that, you may not end up in a good place, because there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't necessarily going to make your life better. There's a lot of stuff out there, meaning thoughts and ideas and beliefs, that can make your life a lot better. But there's also a lot that won't. So if you're not very conscious and active about choosing what you want to focus on, you can end up with a lot of things, a lot of beliefs that you don't really want. Internally, if you choose to go to a larger perspective, there are a lot of beliefs there also that will really help you. And some of those thoughts and beliefs are not available to you when you look around the world. But they are always there internally, which is why I really encourage meditation, because that's where meditation is changing your focus from external to internal. And there you have access to information that will help you move forward. And the information is always there. So changing that focus and going there will help you a lot. That's not to say that what is external is not helpful. It is, as long as you're choosing very carefully what you choose to focus on. Now, when people are young and they're born into this world, they have a very strong connection to that internal side of them, but they also tend to pick up the thoughts and beliefs of those around them in a very passive way. That they will hear it, and after they hear it over and over and over again, they just tend to believe that it's true without questioning it. Because we are not taught to keep that focus with our internal selves as we grow older. So as we grow older, even though that connection was there very strongly in the beginning, most of us are trained away, to look away from that side of ourselves and to start looking outside. And a lot of us are not taught to be active about what we focus upon. So we lose both the connection with our internal selves, a lot of us do, and we lose both the belief, and then once a belief is gone, the ability that we have to choose what we want to focus on, and therefore to choose what beliefs we want to make stronger within ourselves and what beliefs we want to move away from. So how do you change your beliefs? The telescope metaphor is a really good metaphor. Yesterday I talked about if you're on a ship and you're looking out at an island and you have a telescope, whatever you look at on that island, if you turn that dial to make it bigger, it will appear bigger in your vision. And that is how focus works when talking about beliefs. The more you look at something, the bigger it's going to appear in your life. So if you believe that there's a lot of rabbits eating my vegetables, the more you think about that, and the more you're staring out your window searching for the rabbits, the more that energy is put out there. And the more rabbits are going to appear in your vision because you're focusing in on that. So just like with a telescope, that's the way to change your beliefs. What you would do with a telescope is focus outwards so that you could get more in your picture of this island. And then when you had focused outward, so you had a broader view of what was going on, then when you found something that you wanted to see, then you would focus in on it more. So with the rabbit and the vegetable example, you would just start to choose beliefs that were not quite as strong. You would focus backwards. So you would say something like, if you were in this heightened state of anxiety because the rabbits are eating your vegetables, you're going to say something to yourself like, well, you know what? It's okay because I don't need those vegetables to survive. So maybe if a few rabbits eat my vegetables, it's still going to be okay. I don't need to think about this all the time and focus on this all the time. So you're then taking a step back from this. And then you think to yourself, well, there's only so many rabbits in the neighborhood. You know, I don't have to worry about this constantly because I'm not going to change it by worrying about it anyway. So you take a little step back. And then you can try to start focusing on, once you feel a bit better about it and you have calmed down, because that state of emotion shows you that that thought is running over and over and over again. It has a very strong momentum. So what you're trying to do is slow down the momentum. And in a state of anxiety or being very upset, that's the most important thing you can do. You can't change it you can't change from being very upset, having that very strong, powerful thought going, to instantly letting it go. You have to back away slowly. Then when you feel, and if you're in that situation where you're backing away slowly, often changing the topic to something else and just trying to forget about it for a little while until you feel better, that is going to help that strength of that thought subside a little bit until you can get in a better place and you feel that you have more control over where you place your focus. So you're changing the topic in order to get that sense of power over your own thoughts back, and that sense of stability and balance back. Now, once you have that back, you've changed your focus, you've gone out, you've had fun with your friends, you feel good again, you feel more in control of where you place your focus again. Now you can sit down and you can say things like, things that will start to change it towards what you want. You might notice, oh, my neighbor just planted a garden and they have a lot of tasty vegetables. So maybe some of the rabbits are going to go over there as well. Or you might get an idea, oh, I just had an idea of this vegetable that I really want to plant, and rabbits happen to hate that vegetable. Then when you're in that better place, you're going to have access to other thoughts, because this one thought isn't running constantly. You're going to have access to other thoughts that will come to you both internally and externally once you get over that hill and you start thinking to yourself, maybe it is possible to change this. Because if you've noticed, when you get very, very upset about something, what happens is you start thinking, it's not possible to change this. This is never, ever going to change. So once you're in that state, there's no point trying to change that once you have that belief going in the background. That's the time you know you got to take a break. Once you get to the point where you're thinking, oh, maybe this could change, then other thoughts are going to come into you from internally and from externally, and then you can start listening to them and latching onto them and choosing to focus on them, and using the telescope metaphor, you're zooming in on those thoughts. And the more that you start thinking that, oh, maybe if I plant this one vegetable, the rabbits will be deterred, or they don't like this, or whatever it is, whatever thought it is that you feel will work. If you really believe in it, the universe is going to find a way to make it work for you. So that is the way that you change your beliefs. It takes some time, but more than time, it takes some skill and balance and finesse, because you have to know when to push and when not to push. Or with the telescope example, you have to know when to zoom in and when not to zoom in. And basically, don't zoom in if you feel bad. That's the time to zoom out. Zoom in if you feel good and peaceful and hopeful and that something is going to go well. That's the time to focus more on that. So I hope this has helped a little, and I will be back next Saturday at 10 a.m. Thank you, everyone, for being here.